Yesterday, we had our first elimination of Chuang Asia, and I just want to give you my brief thoughts and opinions on this episode, since it did spark some debates and controversies online whether specific trainees they deserve their spot or not. So we start off this episode by Jackson Wang asking the whole group of trainees who believes would be the top 9 after the elimination. And at this point, we can already see that even though the trainees do not have their phones during this whole camp, they sort of like know where they're placed because the people that are standing up, most of them are actually in the top 9. For example, Pai Liu and Eileen, they were quite confident. And also later on, when we see Liu Yuting preparing for her speech as second, she was she knew that she was like sort of undeservingly ranked there for right now. So I think they at least show them like maybe weekly their current rankings. Also, definitely shout out to Lisa and Keith for standing up at this point because they were like literally, yeah, why not? YOLO. Moving on, we get to the actual elimination stage, and I was really quite shocked because what the hell is this? I mean, did they run out of budget? This literally looks like my middle school gym with a stage that has been put there like 2 hours earlier in the morning. On a serious note, I kind of do feel bad for them because they probably had to stand there for the whole day while filming lasted. If you look to previous casting shows, for example, Girls Planet 999, where everyone had a seat at least, and the top 9 had those like super luxury seats on this top triangle, you can say that, yeah, Chuang Asia's production value is a little bit underwhelming. Alright, let's move on to the things that I think they did pretty well because I'm not here just to bash them. So one thing that I liked was the order in which the trainees were called out for the results announcement, because they were like following the storyline of who did best in each episode, starting from episode 1 to 3. And that way it is more engaging than just going from 70 to 1. Also, what I really liked is when they were announcing the results, they were like, boom, straight to the point. If you're out, you're out. Because if you have seen previous seasons of Chuang, they were always trying to trick you. They were like playing with words or, joking that you're out when you're not out. But this time around, it was like really direct. So basically, this goes on for the entire episode until at the end we enter this rescue phase where people from each group can rescue one of the remaining members. And I don't know, call me old-fashioned, but I'm not really sold on this concept. First of all, it puts like a huge pressure on whoever is choosing. And second of all, even if you bring them along, how much sense does it make to drag them on for one more episode? Because let's say Vita, who got like 10% of the votes of the last place, she's not gonna like miraculously make it. On a side note, I think that the Thai trainees out of all the nationalities have the most genuine bond between them, and it was very heartwarming to see how Krista saved Arjing and their friendship together was A-Care. Also, seeing Yin being heartbroken about Preem, it felt very real. So yeah, some of them definitely won me over. So now let's move on to the actual rankings. When I first saw these numbers, I was actually quite shocked, to be honest. Because if you remember from other casting shows or even from Chuang 2020, the votes are usually in the millions, And we have the top 34 here with 160,000. And poor Vida, I mean, 15,000 after 3 weeks, how's that even possible? Like if everyone voted for her daily, that's like less than 500 people. But also Yui on 48 and Arjing and Case being so low, that's criminal. But I'm happy that Duna made it as the only one out of CSJ. I think it just shows you how impactful like one single vote is in this competition with the voting numbers being so low. So keep that in mind and definitely vote every day. Moving on to rank 20 to 29, I think that skill-wise, Mingming and Eileen should definitely be a bit higher, especially Eileen, who is my personal dark horse, as I explained in my previous top 9 video. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. Lisa made a jump from 40 something to 27, so quite glad that she made it. And Mao Xiuling, I think that's the older sister of the twins, she made a huge jump from 57 or something to 25, so good on her. I can see Tegan climbing consistently up to the top 10. Also for me, Wang Ke is definitely a top 10 material. She's just an ace. Moving on to rank 10 to 19, I think on the first side it's quite balanced. Obviously, both Akina and Rinka from the AVEX group, they got a huge boost in the last 48 hours of voting, which made her jump from 40 to 10. And also Liliana Lee going from 38 to 11 without some specific reason is quite impressive. I think the fans just like her personality, and I also think that she has like some hidden potential. Other than that, I'm glad that Coco made it back to the top 20. Also, Emma could be higher, but I'm sure she will because she's like appearing in every second ad. And also Wang Shenxi, who's just really funny, makes me laugh every time. Last but not least, we have our top 9. I think this is also the place where opinions differ the most. I'm not here to criticize anyone because this show is based on fandoms and on popularity, but it is not far-fetched to argue that rank 6 to 9 is probably skill-wise superior to the top 5. I think this whole concept of buying votes can be really dangerous for the contestants themselves, because these fandoms, as you know them from the past, they're very strict. They always have one or two people that they think are not deservingly being there. For example, in Chuang, it was maybe Zhang Yifan, or in Kepler, it was Bahi, who didn't have much screen time in the show themselves, but in the final ranking, they ranked very high, which made them easy targets for netizens. So even though the family or company of Lu Yuting maybe only has good intentions, they really have to be careful that it doesn't destroy this poor girl. With that being said, I'm quite happy for Rinka because she was kind of underrated, but 3 is a very high number, so let's see if she can justify this high ranking. Also, please let Yin and Qiao Yu stay in the top 9 and go even higher, because we have our main vocal and potential center just right here. I think this wraps up quite well our quick analysis. If you want to see more content on a specific trainee, please leave it in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, it would really help me a lot if you did. So thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.